So here we are, a new horizon, the new horizon, and thank you for showing up, and thank you for joining in this moment which we're looking at and discovering the chapters of the book by Joel Goldsmith. And the book, I got it here, the book we use to see what the essential chapters are about. What are the recommended chapters, and what do they actually have to say? Why are they so essential? And so today we have actually the same theme as next week, which will be like practicing the presence. And that always sounds really great. Like he also has written a book, Practicing the Presence, and it's like, yeah, you wanna get that, what that says. And that's of course very interesting because practicing the presence means that you're actually letting go of what isn't present. And you discover where actually that is taking place. Now, we have a little problem, you could say. We have a little problem because there is such thing as a seeming human identity that is, say, in its totality, you could say, in the way of becoming actually present. And to give you an example, you probably turned on some kind of device, were browsing to find the right stuff and clicking on a link, and you find yourself sitting in a chair, in a house, in a place, in a, who knows, coffee shop, who knows, just like your own house, located in a certain place, in a certain country, and all this, it's like all this description that I'm giving you is in fact a denial, you could say, of what the presence is. So that's why this is, it's essential to know more about it, to hear more about it. Now in the book, A New Horizon, it is in fact that Joel refers, this is an introduction to it. It's like Joel refers to his own experiences in his early development, you could say. All right, so continuing. So I've got one thing to tell you, of course, that the one that's pushing the buttons is someone who thinks he is actually steering or monitoring this finger to tap on the right link in order to come in touch with what you see. So in other words, you think that you are this, and this can be quite in the way too to experience presence, because this thing will never, like, you cannot experience presence with the body. Now, see, this is the dilemma. This is what we practice, in fact, to, for just a moment, forget all about it. So that's why this chapter is very interesting, and Joel's expressions are based on New Testament, mostly a little bit of say Old Testament, and so what you see is that he's relating to what the Bible phrases that he is using with his own experience. Now, how helpful is that going to be for you? That's really a question. So that's why I, in fact, took out, you could say, I took out Joel's experience, because it's not about Joel's experience, it is about your experience. Like, Joel can write most beautiful things about his experiences, but it's actually about you. What are you experiencing when you actually let this sink into your consciousness, when you start to relate to what is being shared? Maybe what resistance comes up to actually accept it or hear it. Who knows what? Who knows what is going to happen? But one thing for sure, you're going to have your own experience with it. Now that is always the starting point. Your experience of what you are hearing. Maybe you don't experience anything. And Joel says it's great. And you say, like, I don't know. So apparently there's something essential going on in reading this book. So there's a reason why it is put in this book, this chapter, because it's so specific. There is no other chapter like it. And that's why I want to hear more about it. Now, one of the things in which we come to know more about it is also reading the introduction, because in the introduction there's a short summary of why the chapter is in there and what is so essential about it according to the publisher. Chapter 6, the introduction. In the book Practicing the Presence, this is where the introduction is from, invites every person who has known dissatisfaction, yes, incompletedness, yes, frustration, yes, to the ultimate discovery of true self, which is a presence within that is, nearer than breathing, closer than hands and feet. This chapter opens the door to the adventure of practicing the presence. So it opens the door. So we're going to check out some of the expressions. So this is what the publisher said about the book. And the thing with this chapter 6 in the book, is that actually we have to follow, we have to come to the place where we can hear these expressions, that we become open to receive them, and not fight them, you could say. And so that is a place of quiet, of receptance, of opening up your consciousness for it. Now, that will happen. Like the expressions that are given are in fact referring to your own experience. So they are referring to something essential that is true about you. That's why you will recognize it, even though you might have like considerations, you might have defensive feeling or feeling resistance coming up. Maybe you just allow this to come to you and affect you. Even the tiniest little bit would already be great. Like we're talking here about the introduction to the infinite way. And the infinite way is an experience. It is not an organization. It is not an office. It is not anything like that. It's like, no, the infinite way is an experience of something that will always be with you and always be present in you. That's why we call this practicing the presence. So I call this step 6 or chapter 6, practicing the presence, introduction. Now here's one expression. There is a compulsion within you to find the missing factor in your life that will restore you your original state of harmony, peace and joy. So the thing is here, what is Joel saying? Joel is saying here, what is happening here is this. It's like there's, everyone is inherent in him. In fact, a call for home, like you want to go home, something like this. It's like a deep urge to find that place of rest, comfort, and a real deep sense of fulfillment. Like that is inherent in everyone, because in fact, like it's where you come from, it's what you are. So it has to do with your essence that you're feeling that. Now this is good to recognize. So you have ideas about home, about perfection, about health, wealth, abundance, you know, you name it. Like you have ideas within you about the totality of you, that you're in communication with the whole universe. That's like harmony, incredible synchronicity, absolute beauty. You have ideas about that you inherent in you. You recognize that as being you. Now this is essential. Like you will find that. No matter what, you will find that. Literally, is like you're a firefly flying in the direction of the sun. You cannot stop yourself from doing so. So this is not always fully conscious in you, so you're not always aware of it. So you think that it's about living in this world and doing things, developing, setting up a business, or doing whatever you do to occupy some time and space and make something and make the best of it. But see, here it is. It's like then suddenly something falls apart in you. Suddenly you have still this deep urge for home. You have a deep urge that there's something else and that you want to find it no matter what. And this is, Joel says this too, it's like it is the urge in every one of us to find that. It will not leave you alone. It's not that you can just forget about it. No, it is in fact always with you. And there's a reason for that, of course. So you live in a place that seems to be the opposite of fulfillment, of harmony. Well, you name all these characteristics. It's like you, as a human being, you don't live like that. You have conflict, you have all kinds of things going on, like difficult situations where there's no way out, you're absolutely exhausted, there's sickness, there's war, there's all kinds of stuff going on that has nothing to do with the reality of who you are or with your recognition of what actually you know to be possible. Now this is why we practice the presence, in fact, to come to the point. And you can say, like, yeah, but why would that be just this moment? Why is that not somewhere in the future? That would be reasonable in your time ideas too. It's like there must be a relief in the future somewhere. Well, you grew up with the idea that there's a relief in the future, that you can call it death and then heading to heaven or something. Like, but that is not what practicing the presence is, and it has in fact nothing to do with anything. Because except to believe, you believe that that is your truth, that you believe that that is ahead of you. So here we come, like in this deep sense of ourself, in a deep, soul realm, we recognize, oh, wait a minute, there's something completely different going on. Now, my whole idea of time lineage, of continuity of time, and all that I so hang on to as a human being, has in fact nothing to do with the presence, with coming into the presence. Because presence would only be now, and now being an eternal moment. So it's like it's all happening right now. It's not anywhere else. It's not any other time. So it's what is happening now is all that there is happening. Now, how deep do you want to go into that experience? If I'm thinking about tomorrow or still thinking about yesterday, then I bring that back into this moment and, well, that's what I'm going to experience. I'm not going to experience the presence. So now here these references that Joel is giving are in fact keys to move ahead in that. They will bring you to a place inside yourself that you recognize to be true, even though they seem to be completely 180 degrees upside down in relationship with the way that you live your life as a human being. Now you can say, like, is that bad? Is that wrong? Do I need to... Like, well, in fact, it is not wrong. It is not bad at all. No, it is in fact has nothing to do with the truth. That is the thing, and you start to recognize that more and more, that it has nothing to do with truth. So, to practice the presence would be to take out your investment in time-related matters, in future-related ideas, in maybe even also past ideas that you carry with you as memories. It's like, I don't want to let go of those memories. They are precious to me. So all this influences how you are experiencing this moment. So these expressions of Joel that we're going to listen to, which is in fact New Testament mostly, so expressions of Jesus and John, are bringing you deeply into a possibility for a new reference, for a new horizon, coming into the landscape of your consciousness. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. In quietness and in confidence will be your strength. So he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Now you cannot imagine that, right? You cannot imagine that, but you might have, something might come up as an yes, I want that, like as a desire, you could say. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. See, that is an invitation, in fact, to come to this secret place inside yourself that has nothing to do with anything that you know in this world, but it is a place that is high in your consciousness, that is related to the Almighty, that is one with the Almighty, and that is happening within you. So you by practicing the presence, you could say, is like you start to learn to dwell in the deep place inside yourself where you actually feel the light that is coming from the Almighty starting to shine in your consciousness. So in quietness and in confidence will be your strength. See, it doesn't say like you have to respond to everything that's coming up to you in your world and you have to compete and fight for your rights. No, it says in quietness and in confidence will be your strength. Like in your vulnerability is your strength. In your quietness and in confidence will be your strength. So it's like the confidence is a representation of your experiences with this, because the confidence will grow by you allowing this to touch you, to literally let it influence you, to let it change you, you could say. Abide in me, let me abide in you. Abide in the Word, and let the Word abide in you. Dwell in God, live and move, and have your being in God. Seek Him while He may be found. See, that sounds already a little bit more mysterious, you could say, almost. Abide in me. So it is an invitation. Abide in me. Let me abide in you. And you abide in me. So it's like here's a dwelling place, a tabernacle, you could say. Like it's an abiding place in you. And that becomes a place where you feel completely at home, you could say. It brings you into a communication with your source. Abide in the Word. So what is the Word? The Word is like the created action. Like the Word is the created action of God. It's that what is alive in God. Let the Word, in fact, let it stir you. Dwell in God, live and move and have your being in God, and let yourself be moved by God. Seek Him while He may be found. So you have to seek for that within you. That is the practicing of the presence, to seek Him. So to be so open that He can come to you. so that he may be found. In fact, he will find you. So you see the whole atmosphere, you could say, the whole atmosphere of this chapter is completely different than the rest of the chapters in the book. It's so different because, in fact, Joel brings everything that was so valuable to him in his development, you could say, of the trust in what is given. He shares with it. It's like, these are some pearls that came to me and I love to share them with you. So they will be recognized by you and they will become even stronger in me by sharing them. So this is going on. It's like, what do you want to receive? Well, what you are going to give is what you receive. If you this is even so in the human experience too. If I share my hate and negativity, you could say, what do you think I receive for that? That will come back to me too. So now here I'm sharing something that has nothing to do with my human life, but what I recognize to be the truth of me. I'm going to share that with you. So that's an essential part too in say, growing the confidence or growing the depth of my experience. By giving that away, it becomes stronger in me and in the one I give it to. Like, here's a possibility to expand and to give that, and to give that as a gift because I have received it as a gift. So these are essential, say, steps in the awakening process that we're talking about. Like, of course, truth is already true. Like, you abide in God. It's not that is new, but it isn't so in your consciousness. So we have to deal with your consciousness. There's a part of your consciousness that is actually totally occupied with superficiality. Well, that has nothing to do with the truth of who you are. It's like you gave a lot of attention to a shadow. Now, a shadow is nothing in itself, like it can disappear in an instant. So what remains is what always has been and what you are. So that development, you could say, is the awakening process, is recognizing what is true and go for that and see the rest dissolve. That is practicing the presence. You see the rest dissolve. You experience light and love, suddenly fulfillment and a beauty that you can't describe. Well, that takes care of it. So then there's not much that you have to do for it, except being open to receive that. So this is what we learn during the practicing the presence, to become open and receptive, and not to respond, not to attack, not to consider, not to concern, not to, see, here you have it. It's like all kinds of activities that are pretty normal for an average human being. But now in this new horizon that is entering into your consciousness, all that is of no use. So it also doesn't have to be used in this world. It is not that now, okay, I'm going to change the world because I found it. Now I'm going to change the world. It's like, no, that's not necessary either. No, you accept this for yourself. You dwell in that and you see the whole world disappear. It is like that. And that becomes your focus, you could say. That becomes your dwelling place. It is returning back to where you came from. Returning back into full awareness of what is true about you. What would you want to do with the rest? What rest is there if there's only truth? So in other words, you start to see through the illusion. You start to see that behind every object there's the truth shining behind it, and you can relate to that and you can recognize that. But that is only happening in you. I can of my own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me doeth the works. I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. I can of my own self do nothing. Like, this is not a popular phrase for an average human being, but it starts to become pretty nice for you, probably. It's like, I of my own self can do nothing. Now, is that a declaration of your hopelessness? But no. No, it puts you in the position where you actually are. It's like, as a human being, you think that you're the cause and that the things that you do are the effect, right? It's like no one doubts about that. It's like, you are the cause, you do this, and you have an effect. You change the world, or you do this or do that. And here, in truth, you could say, in recognizing truth, I see that I of my own self can do nothing. And that doesn't confirm a hopelessness. No, that confirms a total dependence on my source, because I'm the effect of it. I'm the instrument, you could say. I'm the instrument of truth. My cause will give me exactly what I need, to express, what I need to be. Like, that is given. It is not made by me. It's not that I'm trying to achieve a goal. No, not necessary at all. So it's like, it is streaming through you. It's a flow of spirit through you. The source is not you. No, the source is God expressing itself as Joel uses this a lot in his books too. Like, this is God expressing himself through you as an individual. You have a subjective, singular experience of God, literally like flowing through you in this moment. So that's why the practicing the presence comes back to again. It's like, what do I need to do for that? Well, tell me what I need to do and I will do it. It's like, no. No, there's no doing on your part at all. I of my own self can do nothing. It's really like that. It's like, the more you get out of the way, you could say, the more you recognize that you're not doing anything, the easier it can flow through you. And the more you ease, you could say, you ease into the love of God. No, all the actions and plans that you make for yourself to become a better spiritual student or whatever, like, it's all not that. It's not that. The more you can recognize that you have nothing to do with it, the more your consciousness will be open to receive it. So that's also different, isn't it? It's like a continuously 180 degrees upside down. No, that's not it. It is that. Oh my God. I of my own self can do nothing. And I don't need to do anything either. It will come through me. I'm the instrument. An instrument doesn't know how to play itself. No, it's going to be played by spirit. It's literally the breath of life flowing through. Fundamental in the sense of, well, you have to recognize those in your awakening. Of course, this will open a whole new avenue or a whole new horizon. So I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. It's like, well, my recognition of my Christ awareness, my wholeness, is of course like putting me in the place where I allow that strength to flow through me. It's like, literally, that is happening. So it's the Christ is part of the Trinity with Spirit, with God, part of the Trinity as one, recognizing itself in every aspect of itself. Without God, I am nothing. But with God, all the powers of harmony unite in me to express themselves. I don't need to express them. They express themselves. Without God, I am nothing, but with God, all the powers of harmony unite in me to express themselves. See, it's also completely God dependency, you could say, complete God dependency. Of course. He performeth the thing that is appointed for me. So if I think I need to do something, so how can I do it? What needs to be done? Letting Him perform it. You don't have to do that. It's not up to you, in other words. No, it is not of your concern how it's going to be expressed. No, He performeth the thing that is appointed for me. The Lord will perfect that which concerneth me. See, this is how it works. I enter into this class, I have no idea what to share with you. How do I know what to share with you? How would I know what is the best for everyone here? How would I know what to express in this moment? I would have no idea. But I don't need to be concerned with that. No, He performeth that which is appointed to me. And that is in every aspect of your daily life, you could say. In other words, if you let Spirit inspire you to do the things for you, you could say, show me how to do this, show me, yeah, you got to do this for me because I have no idea what this is, or how this works. I have no idea what would be the best. By admitting that, I put myself in the appropriate place. Total God dependency. Now, whatever flows through me is not of my concern. Does it have effect? I don't care. It doesn't matter. It is not of my concern. I totally trust what comes through me. And here it is. Like, that must be perfect. Wow, that's so great to see that at work. It is effortless. I see it at work and it's happening right now. Just by being present, being open. No idea what should be expressed. And at the same time it's happening. So this is so incredible to experience. So in all your affairs you can apply this. There literally is no exception. Because if you think that there's an exception, you know what is going to happen. Otherwise you would not be here. Like, the only thing that happens when you trust your so-called own powers that you don't have is the thing that happens that you in fact I just lost it. It's like the thing that happens when you trust your own powers is that so what happens what happens when you trust your own powers? This is so great. See, it's right here. So what happens when you trust your own powers? You come back exactly to the same place where you started. The place where you have an urge to be at home. Where you really feel like there is perfection, there is wholeness, there is total love without opposite. There's total joy without opposite. There's a happiness that I cannot contain, that is me. I know it is there because I know. See, this is the place where I come back to. This urge will come up again and I have to find my way back home, you could say, again. So if I trust my own powers, that's the only thing that's going to happen. I will start to look for God again. Whether I admit that immediately, which would be wonderful, or whether I wait with that for another 20 years of suffering, whatever you wish. It is your free will to delay. Oh, yes. God is. Of that, you may be sure. This is only true in your experience. However, in the degree in which you contemplate, meditate, and keep your mind stayed on God, well, there was a klein typo, a little typo, stayed on God. living, moving, and having your being in the conscious realization that God will never leave you nor forsake you. So this is only true in your experience, however, in the degree in which you contemplate, meditate, and keep your mind stayed on God. What Joel is actually expressing here is, like, God is. See, God is a fact. It is not something we can discuss. Now you can say, like, well, I don't experience that all the time. No, well, this is what Joel is referring to. No, you're not experiencing that all the time. Well, you can do that, but you don't experience that all the time. So Joel gives you the suggestion to meditate and contemplate, to stay in a continuous remembrance of that God is, and I'm not. You could say, God is and I'm not. All the things that I think about myself are not it. No, God is. So now I'm using this very specifically, like in the sense of God is. See, there's nothing but that. That's a fact. The rest is not a fact. Now when Joel says, in proportion as you keep this in your consciousness, by meditation, by contemplation, and not only that, by actually allowing this to be your experience, because that's where it comes down to. Like, I can sit and meditate for a long time, but not having any experiences. Now here it is, it's like, no, to practice the presence, you actually have to experience the presence. That's what practicing the presence is for. To have this moment of reunion, of communication, of communion, as Joel uses a lot. Like, that is the thing. It's like, whether you call that contemplation or meditation. Contemplation is not having a Bible phrase in your mind and repeat that over and over and over and over. No, that would be a mental activity. No, we're going deeper, because we are on a soul level practicing, you could say, of coming to the full experience of your soul, which is in perfect communication with everything. Like, that's the place where you enter into if you allow that to occur, and you see that God is. That is an experience. That is not a phrase. That is not a concept. No, God is. So this is really wonderful. So I love that that this is one of the expressions too, and I'm happy to say, make it even more clear with the idea of contemplation and meditation. It is not about sitting still. It is not about closing your eyes and sitting still. No, it has nothing to do with that, in fact. So what happens is that you come into an experience of the truth of you. That's an experience. It is not a concept. It is not an activity. It's a realization. So this is what you learn, you could say, to do by getting out of the way, not by doing anything, not by trying to get to the experience or something. It's like, that's not going to work either. So it's not of your doing. The only thing you can do is becoming open and receptive. And that means basically get out of all ideas that you hold about yourself and say, pull back out of all the investments that you have into this three-dimensional world, because it's only in the way, in fact, to experience this perfect moment. So that makes it very simple, you could say. But that's also the hard part. Oh yeah, spiritual truth in the Bible is only a power in proportion as it is brought alive in your consciousness and kept alive. So this is interesting that Joel says that, of course. So this is what I was talking about. It's like, it needs to be experienced in consciousness. It needs to be experienced. It needs to come to life in you. It needs to stir you up from within, like, and brings you to life. And and it needs to be kept alive. Now that's interesting to us. So how do we keep this alive? Like, okay, I have an experience of my communication with God. I felt it coming up from within and blows my mind open completely. And suddenly I find myself in a deep experience of, say, presence, of communication with the universe, of loving my brother completely, like having a deep sense of oneness and of fulfillment. I experienced that. Now, how am I going to keep that? How can I keep that in my awareness? That question comes up many times. Yeah, many of us ask it. Like, why is that? How do you do that? How can you stay in the continual remembrance? How do you stay aligned, in other words? How do you do that? And then, so the thing that comes up to share, that's so interesting, because you think that you have to keep something for yourself, and you keep your consciousness focused on God and try to stay in the remembrance or something. Like, no, it's not working like that at all. No, that is so great if you recognize it, how you can actually keep it. How can you keep this? By giving it away. And you say, like, well, am I not losing it then? No, that would be a human idea, thinking that if you give something away that you don't have it any longer. No, here it's totally different. You experience the totality of you. You want to give it away in order to keep it. That is the mechanism. It's like, no, God only gives. You give what you have received. You continuously give what you have received. How do you do that? Well, there will be all kinds of ways. It's like, allow Him to perform it for you. Let yourself be inspired to let this occur. So now here we're talking about, say, the continual inspiration by spirit, inspiration. Like, spirit continuously offers you possibilities to experience this. See, and then it's the same. If I have concerns about it, then my mind is closed. If I let these concerns go and give away what, and not knowing how to do that, which is great, like, I can be inspired to know how to do this, and that will come to me. So I listen and I relax into that. It's like, yeah, take it easy. You're not going to lose this. No, you cannot lose this. So it's with you always. It is comforting you in the moments that you need that comfort. It is there. You ask for it and it will be there. It's like, so this is what you do. You recognize that I of my own self can do nothing. And more of what Joel just shared with us is like, all these things, there's no necessity for you to set up your plan, to keep in conscious remembrance how to stay in God. Otherwise you would make your own plan again, and it's gonna fail. It's not working that way. No, your mind is set on remembering God. You get all the inspiration that you need, but follow those cues. Follow the instructions that you receive to do it. I need to rest. I don't need to exhaust myself. I don't need to put tremendous effort in whatever. No, I'm saying I'm choosing for my own stillness and for my own peace, for my rest. That's my priority, to take time to let my consciousness, it's like my mind, be calm, to receive what actually comes to me as an instruction or as an inspiration. So I listen and I listen. So in fact, in that listening is where you receive it for yourself and you give it away. So the remembrance comes in that too again. That's so beautiful. So you can imagine why this is an essential chapter. I don't even have to explain that. I'm just going to check if there's more expressions. No, this was the last one that That's wonderful. So the next, the next chapter will be also from the book Practicing the Presence, but then the chapter is Love Thy Neighbor. Now that is very interesting too. It's like, what does that have to do with practicing the presence? And of course I'm not going to say anything about it. But you see, it's like all the things that you relate with a practice are things that you didn't expect to be part of it. Like loving my neighbor, why would that be part of it? Like, I'm doing this, right? I'm in this spiritual process. So what has my neighbor to do with that? And see, that's so lovely. If you start to see that, it's like, well, my neighbor is myself. Like, there's nobody out there. There's nobody there. It's like, no, I come to the recognition of the truth of who I am, recognizing that there's only one. It's like, how many Christs are there? There's only one Christ mind. And this mind is one. Like, this mind is whole. It includes literally everything. And there are no separate parts. Of course, there are, say, different expressions. Sure. The ocean has many waves, you could say. Like, and all of these are part of the ocean. You cannot separate one wave from the other. It's like it's all part of the ocean. Sure, absolutely. But it's completely connected and communicating. Every aspect of it is communicating. So to love my neighbor would be a very good idea in order to discover that I'm one with him. If I recognize my brother for who he is, I'm not able to even see him. I'm not even able to take a look at him because of the loveliness that I'm encountering. I will just dissolve into the love that I'm feeling. Now this is just an example then, a little bit of what we will see next week in Love Thy Neighbor from Practicing the Presence. So also very lovely. So I'm really happy with this chapter too. It's like chapter 6, wonderful. So we have a couple more chapters to go. There are 9 in them. So yeah, we do well. We do great. So I'm really happy that you're part of this and that you listen to this or are actually present here while we are recording this and giving this to one another. So thank you for that. I totally appreciate it. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.